Show the world. Come on. Bring it on.
Hi, welcome to RooSports. I'm Joey Ross. I'm here with my dad Toby, guest picker Landon Ross, guest picker Taylor Fields, guest picker Ryan Harquez, and guest Taylor Morgan. And we're gonna get into this bowl season, picking almost like all the big games, and starting off with the Heisman Trophy.
Absolutely, Joey.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, the 2015 Heisman Trophy winner. Second Alabama player to win the Heisman Trophy. How do you feel about this Heisman Trophy winner this year?
Some people think it was planned,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of think it was because I feel like Christian McCaffrey at Stanford, he didn't get much respect.
Right.
Derrick Henry did because he's done everything for Stanford's offense to
Right.
lead them to the Rose Bowl.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely has played well and stuff. Okay, Joey, this is our Bowl Mania show
Yep.
with everybody here, and we're gonna talk about some of the bowl games. But first, last video that we made a challenge. You made a challenge
Yeah.
to see who could guess the last time that Oklahoma beat a number 1 ranked team, and we had a few people guess, and the winner of that was Hunter Brown. So Hunter Brown is going to get the $30 gift card to Chick-fil-A. So Hunter, we will get that to you. Way to go, man! Thanks for taking the challenge and winning it. Also, Joey, we want to talk about our Bowl Mania, the ESPN group that we have. It's called RooSports. It's on ESPN Bowl Mania, and we want you guys to join with us and make the picks. If you join, it's a private group, so you'll have to enter the password. The password is Oklahoma, and that's all you have to do to join in. And what we're going to do is the winner of that bowl pick'em will receive a sign similar like this one right below us here, the OU wooden sign. Red Dirt Woodworks out of Oklahoma City makes these custom signs, and if you win, you'll get a customized sign just like this one to whatever your liking is, any state shape, any team. We have Oklahoma on there, so whatever state that you want, if you win this, you get a customized sign for free, all for playing our Bowl Mania game this year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 40 games, Joey, so there's a lot. And are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot of games that we're going to talk about and stuff. So this is going to be an interesting, round of picks and stuff because so many games. There's we got 40 games, but we're not going to talk about all 40 games. That's just too many.
What's interesting is we have double the amount of people.
That's true.
All 6 of us could agree.
That's
Or
right.
everybody else have their own opinion.
Yeah. So we'll just see how this goes and stuff. We got a lot of experience here. Some former guests and stuff joining us. So yeah, we're excited and stuff. So here's what we think is going to happen. So like we said, you can join that Bowl Mania group and challenge our picks for a chance to win this sign. All right, Joey. Let's start off with the bowl games. Are you ready? I mean, because it's this Saturday that the bowl games start.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of go through the list of some of the more, there's a few games out there that, kind of don't mean anything, but there's a few games out there that will definitely mean something, and we're going to talk about those. First off, we're going to talk about the day after Christmas, December 26th, and the Hyundai Sun Bowl, Joey. Miami, who's 8-4, meets up with the Washington State Cougars, also 8-4. What do you think about this matchup?
I'm gonna have to go with Miami here.
Okay.
Because I think that they've played good. They've made their losses pretty close. Washington State, they've been kind of struggling throughout this season, but they've bounced back, and I think this is gonna be a close one. But I think Miami pulled out with the win.
All right. I'm gonna go down here to Taylor Fields. Taylor, what do you think, man? This is quite an interesting matchup between the Hurricanes and the Cougars.
Just out of pure hatred for Miami, I pick them in any game, even if they're playing a junior high team.
Right.
I will go to Washington State Cougars. But also the good reason behind there, Washington State actually will put some points on against Miami, and Miami's going through a coaching change right now.
That's true.
So I don't know if the players are ready to buy into his system quite yet, just before game. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tricky.
All right, Landon, what do you think, man?
I'm going with Miami because, yeah.
All right, Ryan.
I'm going to go with Washington State too, mainly because I agree Washington State can score points, and I think they probably will against Miami. Another good reason is that I think Washington State, they have some signature wins against Oregon and UCLA, which Miami doesn't have that caliber of wins on their schedule this year, so I'm going to go with Washington State.
Okay. All right, Taylor.
Looking like we're going to be pretty split on this one. I'm actually going Miami on this one. Know that they're in the midst of a coaching change, but I do believe that I think Miami fans have been waiting for this team to come back to prominence like they used to be the days of old at the U. So I'm pulling for Miami in this one based off athleticism. I do think it's going to be a really close game to about 3 points, but I'm going for Miami.
All right, yeah, they split down the middle there. All right, guys, some interesting games. Also, that same day, Tulsa taking on Virginia Tech, the Hokies.
See, I'm going to go with the Tulsa Golden Hurricane because I think their offense is good, but their defense is not very good. Virginia Tech, I think their defense is good, but their offense is not really good. But I think the offensive team that wins this with Tulsa, and I think they can pull out the win here against Virginia Tech.
Really? All right, back to Taylor down here, Fields.
I'm actually going to go with Virginia Tech. It's going to be a real close game, though, down to the wire. But this is Frank Beamer's last game, and I'm pretty sure that his players are going to play a little extra hard to let this man go out and win for Virginia Tech. So I'm picking Virginia Tech just on pure emotion.
All right, yeah, that's a good point there. Landon, what do you think, man?
I'm going with Tulsa. They're okay.
Okay. All right, Ryan, what do you think, man?
I'm going with Vatek too. I think that Tulsa can score points, and their offense is definitely ranked higher. One thing that I'm going to give the edge to on Vatek is that Tulsa has the 120th ranked defense. So I'm going to give, and you all know me, Toby and Joey and Landon know me, I usually root for the offensive team,
Right.
which is definitely Tulsa, but I just think with such a lackluster defense, I give the edge to Vatek.
Okay. All right, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the other Taylor over there. With Beamer on his way out, I'm going with the Hokies on this game. They're going to be coming off of pure emotion and going to be everything they got for the coach that has been there multiple years, led them to many bowl games, led them to many ranked and winning seasons. And I don't see them going out in a loss for Beamer. So I see the Hokies winning by about 10 points.
All right, good picks. All right, guys, some more games that same night. There's an interesting Pac-12 Big Ten matchup where we have UCLA meeting Nebraska in the Foster Farms Bowl. Joey, this is an interesting matchup. First of all, Nebraska 5-7, not really bowl eligible, but they get in anyways.
Here, I think it's an easy pick for me. I got UCLA. Nebraska's 5-7, but I know that some of their losses have been close, But UCLA has got, more experience, and they're playing in their home state. I think they're kind of home in this game. So I think Nebraska has no chance, and I think UCLA wins this.
All right, Mr. Fields.
I'm picking UCLA too, just for the pure fact that they're playing in California. Nebraska they really shouldn't be in the bowl game, in my honest opinion. But yeah, UCLA part big.
All
It's
right.
gonna be over by halftime.
Okay, Landon, what do you got, man?
I'm going with UCLA to have more wins. They're doing pretty good, so yeah, I'm going with UCLA.
Okay.
I guess I'll jump on the bandwagon and go with UCLA too. But just on paper, these teams really aren't that different.
Right.
They have really similar offenses as far as how many points they're scoring per game. However, UCLA has definitely better wins on their schedule. They've beaten 5 ranked opponents versus Nebraska's fluke win against Michigan State. So I think, and that's really the only thing that you could point to Nebraska as far as anyone they played and had a good schedule with. So I'm going to go with UCLA.
Okay, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be following right along, I guess, suit tonight. Definitely going with UCLA. and Josh Rosen, their freshman quarterback, has been playing tremendously. They call him Frozen Rosen. And he's been doing great for them. I look for him to have a big game against Nebraska. I look up to put about 5 total TDs in them. I see it being over about beginning of the third quarter. I see this game being knocked out for them.
Interesting. All right. We're going to move on to December 29th to the Russell Athletic Bowl, where number 10, North Carolina, takes on number 17, Baylor. Joey, this is a very interesting matchup, the way that the committee put these bowls together. This one's certainly, very interesting with the third Big 12 team taking on basically a really good North Carolina team. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, I got North Carolina in this one. Baylor's having some quarterback issues. Almost every quarterback that goes in their offense is getting hurt. But I think North Carolina, they played good against Clemson.
Mhm.
I know they got kind of screwed in that last onside kick, but I think North Carolina can shut them down in Orlando.
Okay. All right, Taylor Fields.
I'm picking North Carolina, but it's going to be very close. I honestly think Baylor is actually going to score points on this team. I think that both offenses are high-powered, and I honestly think it's going to be really close. I think whoever has the ball at the end is going to win the game.
Okay. Landon?
I'm going with North Carolina because, as Joey said, they don't really have much QB help because
Right.
both of them are hurt. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going with North Carolina too. I think that outside of that, like Joey said, outside of that horrible call at the end of that
Yeah.
ACC championship game, I think North Carolina's playing great. They've ripped off lots of wins here in the end of the season. They're playing really great then in the end of the stretch. And then Baylor's playing with their third stringer still at quarterback,
Yes.
and so I think they're going to struggle. Although I think that Baylor will score points, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think North Carolina in general is more balanced between offense and defense, and I think that you see more with Baylor. You see more of a disparity between how good their offense is and how good their defense is. With their offense being ranked first and their defense being ranked 75th in the country with as far as points per game is concerned. So I'm going to go with North Carolina.
All right. Mr. Morgan?
Well, looks like I'm going on the different end on this one. This one was pretty tough for me looking at this matchup, but I think I got to go with Baylor. And just like you guys said, I know they've had a lot of QB issues this year. I mean, it just seems like it could not get any worse for them when they had the fourth stringer, the wide receiver that come in that probably hadn't thrown the football all year, no snaps. It was getting pretty rough for them. But we can't forget about the athletic receivers that they have on the outside. And I think even if you give them a room, a little bit of a quick slant, something, I think they're going to be able to take to the house. I think a lot of points are going to be scored on this game. But I do see Baylor coming in with an attitude, some frustration at the season. They look out to go out with a bang. So I believe they're going to pull the upset on North Carolina.
Wow. Interesting call. All right. Some interesting matchups, guys. We'll continue on December 29th and look at the Advocare Texas Bowl, a Big 12 SEC matchup, Joey, where number 20 LSU Tigers take on Texas Tech, the Red Raiders.
Well, this is pretty weird for me because Texas Tech beating Arkansas beating LSU. But here, I think LSU beats Texas Tech in the Texas Bowl because I think LSU, Leonard Fournette's going to get his final stand of the year. He's going to show it off. LSU's defense is good. Texas Tech has a great offense, but I think they struggle in this one, and I think LSU beats them in this one.
All right. Taylor Fields.
All right, I'm actually going with the upset. I'm going with Texas Tech. I think LSU are probably not motivated for this bowl. I think the season's been kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette is going to get his yards. He's going to get his touchdowns, but in the past, LSU has not done very well against spread offenses. They seem when they get down by a few scores, run the ball, then it has to change them to throwing the ball, and they're not a very good throwing team.
Okay.
So I'm picking Tech.
All right. Interesting. All right. Landon.
I'm picking the LSU because I'm thinking LSU, the Tigers, they're doing okay this season.
All right. Ryan.
I am going with LSU as well. I think that LSU, to counter what Taylor said, I think with them not being motivated, I think you're exactly right. On the flip side of that, I think because of the LSU administration's commitment to keep him on and not get rid of him after that 3 or 4 losses they had in a row there at the end of the season, I think he knows that he needs to go out and win. And and
Yeah.
I think he's got a little bit of fire underneath him, even though it was kind of a love fest whenever they announced they were keeping him.
Right.
I think he knows that he needs to win this game, and he should, because Texas Tech is the 125th ranked defense. And I think that Fournette should have a great game against that. So
Yeah.
I'm picking LSU.
All right. Taylor.
This is going to be a fun game to watch. If you guys are going on December 29th, you need to turn on your television and watch this one. I'm pulling for Texas Tech in the upset in this one. I see you're going to see every trick play in the book thrown at LSU. We know that he's got some trick plays up their sleeves, just like Taylor was saying. It seems like that almost a lot of SEC defenses, when they run into a spread type of offense, really kind of struggle. We know SEC defenses are built a lot of times for the run. You've got great running backs over there, and so I look for Texas Tech to win. Maybe in a last-second crazy trick play. It's going to be exciting to watch. Leonard Fournette, he's going to get his rushing yards. He's probably going to have over 200 in the first half. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to overcome. And look for Texas Tech, the Raiders, to go crazy.
Okay. All right. Red Raider potential there for this game. All right, guys, we're going to look the next day on December 30th. We're going to look at the Birmingham Bowl, which this is a very interesting matchup, Joey, because we got Auburn Tigers, who are 6-6, taking on this Memphis team who they had a few good wins this year, taking out Ole Miss earlier in the year. So, what do you think about this matchup?
It's weird because, Auburn is basically the underdog here, but they're playing at home, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Memphis, wins against the SEC again this year, because I don't think Auburn's that good. Their defense wasn't very good against Derrick Henry, Alabama. But Memphis plays football. They know how to play an SEC team, and I think Memphis wins it big.
All right. Taylor.
This is a down year for Auburn. I'm picking Memphis, but my understanding that Memphis coach already leave. Did he move to a different team?
Yes. Justin Fuente has
he got a
just
different-
go ahead and taken
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the X factor.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pick Memphis just because Auburn is having a down year, but I think it's going to be really close because, like I said, the head coach is gone, so
Right.
you got to find motivation now somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Landon. What do you think?
I'm picking Memphis in this game. Auburn doesn't have as much wins, and yeah.
All right, Ryan.
I'm going with Memphis too. I think this isn't the Auburn team that we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Memphis can score points. I think that's
Mhm.
kind of the big key factor is that Memphis can score points. I think they're pretty much a draw on defense, but I think Memphis' offense is going to come out and score enough points to take care of Auburn. And I think Memphis, although their schedule as a body of work wasn't probably as tough as Auburn, you got to give them credit for their win against Ole Miss because they executed in it. So yeah, I'm going with Memphis.
Okay. Taylor.
Going with Memphis as well in this game. Definitely a disappointing year for Auburn. A lot of top ESPN analysis and commentators, sports people all over were picking Auburn to be in the Final Four.
Me.
Picking them to win the SEC, and now here we are talking about them going 6-6. As OU fans, we remember we've been there before, as of last year, but we'll get into that later where we are now. But I'm picking Memphis to win this game. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, and to be honest, I don't think this one's going to be that close at all. I look for Memphis to win it big.
All right.
I agree.
Interesting stuff, guys. Okay. Continuing on with December 30th bowls. The next bowl we're going to look at is the Belk Bowl, and that is North Carolina State taking on Mississippi State. Joey, I looked at this bowl game, and
This is tough to me.
this is one of the tougher ones that I can't figure out who to pick.
North Carolina State playing at home, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I'm gonna go with Mississippi State here. They beat Arkansas, what Ole Miss and LSU couldn't do. But I really think Mississippi State can win this one. It's gonna be a close game, but I think Mississippi State pulls this one out like squeaks by.
Okay. Taylor.
I also too are picking Mississippi State. Dak Prescott's been, I think this is his senior year, so he kind of wants to go out with a bang. And yeah, it's going to be a really close game. It's pretty much like a home game for North Carolina. So yeah, I kind of agree with Joey. It's more of a home game for NC State, but Mississippi State should pull it out.
Okay, Landon.
I'm going with NC State. They're at home basically, so yeah, I think they're gonna get one.
All right, Ryan.
I think this matchup is probably one of the more evenly
Yes.
matched up
Yeah.
games in terms of what each team has accomplished and kind of their statistically this season. And so, with that said, I think that NC State's body of work, the teams they've had to play all year, I just don't think they compare to what Mississippi State has done. And I really think that Mississippi State, even though, again, like we've said, it's a home game for NC State, I really think that Mississippi State has no problem coming in and taking this one. And I really don't think it'll be all that close, even though on paper it should be. I don't think it will be. I think Mississippi State is going to take the cake on this one.
All right, Taylor.
Yeah, I'm taking Mississippi State on this one. I look for Dak Prescott to definitely be the key player to this game. Just a couple of years ago, when they were highly ranked, we were talking about him being possible Heisman hopeful,
Right. Yeah.
and not necessarily that he's dropped off too much. They lost some players, so that kind of brought them to where they're at right now. But I look for him to have a big game, like he was saying in his senior year. I looked at him to win by more than 2 touchdowns in this game.
Wow. Great points, guys. All right, continue on with the December 30th bowl game. We're going to look at Music City Bowl, which takes place in Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm sorry, did we do that one already?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Texas A&M versus Louisville. Joey, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I'm saying Texas A&M is gonna be playing some music in this game because Louisville, I don't think Louisville's good. A&M's probably got the edge on this one because they've won some good games, but I think A&M wins big.
Okay, Taylor.
I picked A&M. Yeah, I really. A&M just should win. Louisville's okay. They have been very impressive this year, so A&M should win.
Okay, Landon.
I'm going with A&M. They're doing pretty good this year. Louisville, not that great, but okay. So yeah.
All right, Ryan.
I'm going with A&M on this one. I think Louisville is really lackluster on offense, and I think A&M, they're not spectacular, but points per game, they're in the top 30. So I think that's going to be the difference. Neither one of them play great defense. I think that A&M, playing in the SEC is probably, I'm not going to jump on the SEC love fest, but the SEC compared to Louisville's schedule is a stark difference. So I think that gives A&M a better edge. This is kind of interesting for me because when A&M was in the Big 12, you couldn't get me to root for A&M. And now here I am picking A&M. So I guess probably because they were moved from the Big 12, so I don't have the same type of just taste for them. But I think I do really think they pull it out. And I think they'll probably score a few points in that game. So.
Okay, all right. Taylor.
Yeah, I'm going with A&M, and it's true. It's still weird when I think of Texas A&M, Missouri, Colorado, Nebraska. It's still weird to see them not in the Big 12. But I'm going for A&M purely just because of the athletes. I mean, not much strategy or in-depth needs to go into this one. When you look at some of the guys that they have, I just don't think Louisville matches up real well at all against this team. I think they're gonna get blown out, to be honest, in this game. So I think this one's gonna be a snoozer pretty quickly. So I look for A&M to win pretty big on this one.
And Kyle Allen, maybe on Oklahoma.
That's true, yeah. He's
I'll gladly take them.
Yeah.
Good point.
All right, guys, we're going to continue on, look at a Pac-12 Big Ten matchup at the Holiday Bowl, where number 25 USC will take on Wisconsin. Joey, this is an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Lot of power on both sides there.
I'm gonna go with USC here. They didn't play good in the basketball championship against Stanford, but they're at home in San Diego, and in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a good team, but I gotta give the edge to USC. They've beaten better teams than Wisconsin has, and I think USC wins this one pretty close.
Okay. Taylor.
I'm actually going to pick Wisconsin on this. Wisconsin reminds me a whole lot of Stanford. It's just a lower level team of Stanford. Wisconsin's going to run the ball. They're going to dominate the clock. USC is going to put some points up, but ball control is going to win this game, and Wisconsin's going to beat them.
Okay. All right, Landon.
I'm gonna go with USC. They're ranked. And
Okay, Ryan.
I'm going with USC on this one too, and here's the reason why. I think that Wisconsin's record is deceiving. They didn't have to play Ohio State, Michigan, or Michigan State. And so I think that you put those three into their schedule, and I think you're looking at a different record than a 9-3. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Wisconsin, points per game, has actually the #1 ranked defense for points allowed.
Wow.
Again, I think part of that is because of the schedule they played. I think they drew a pretty good schedule this year in the Big Ten. But I think offensively, I think USC is going to be able to do some things against them.
Okay.
And I don't have a lot of faith in Wisconsin. I'll put that out there. On paper, probably more evenly matched, but I think USC takes it to their offense.
All right. Good stuff. All right, Taylor.
Going with the Trojans in this one, and on the flip side, like you were saying, I think the same thing could be said about USC. I don't think they're an 8-5 team. I think they're a better team than that, but they were kind of in a little bit of a loaded Pac-12 situation this year, especially at the beginning of the year. They had some heartbreaking losses, and then some teams like Oregon kind of started off good, went down, and then towards the end of the year got really good. And so I think they're better than an 8-5 team. There's a lot of NFL type quality players that are going to be on that team. I do look for it to be pretty close. Kind of keep saying I think Wisconsin's going to run the ball. They've been known for that, running the ball, controlling the clock, and I think they'll win on that. So I'll look for USC to win by about a touchdown.
Okay. Great stuff, guys. All right, we're going to go to New Year's Eve and look at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Number 18, Houston, taking on number 9, Florida State Seminoles. Joey, a lot of offense in this matchup. A
Yeah.
lot of offense.
But I'm gonna go with the upset here. Houston beats Florida State because I think Houston, they're AAC champions. Florida State has 2 losses. Both of them close. But I think Houston's playing. They've been rolling this season. I think they finish big here and win against Florida State in the Peach Bowl.
Really? Okay. Interesting. All right, Taylor.
All right, gentlemen.
No.
I am picking Florida State, not just because I like them or nothing. It's just because they're just a better team. They have 2 losses. They lost one on a fluke play, but they still lost, and they lost to the #1 team in the nation just by a few points. Florida State has a running game. They do have a passing game. Their defense is a lot better than people think. And Dalvin Cook probably does have a chip on his shoulder by not being invited to New York, so
Yeah.
this is one of his statement games he's going to make.
Absolutely. All right, Landon.
I'm going with Houston on this one.
Really?
They've had a pretty good season this year, and 12-1. So yeah, Houston.
Okay. Ryan.
I'm going to go with Taylor on this one. I think that FSU wins, and I really don't think it's all that close. Talking about their defense, they are ranked 5th in defense in the country, so I think that goes a long way in this game. Houston's can score points though, and that's however, I think that some of their signature wins, they did beat Memphis. Houston did, and Temple actually. So those aren't. But I think in general, the scheduling, again, losing to #1 and a heartbreaker against another, I think that's and having a great defense is going to make the difference in this one.
Absolutely. All right, Taylor.
This one was probably one of the hardest games, actually, looking at this for me to pick. I'm going with the upset on this one. I'm going with Houston. There's a quarterback in Houston that I think needs to be getting a little bit more recognition for that offense, and it's been humming. It's been going pretty good, like you said. Beat a Memphis team who, if I remember right in that game, I can't remember how many billions of points was scored in that game, but I see a lot of points, honestly, being scored this game, and I do know that Florida State does have a better defense than people are getting them credit for, but I see about 80-plus points being scored in this game.
Wow.
I think the last team that has the ball in their hands is going to win this game, and I see Houston winning about a field goal in the last 3 seconds, so if I call that and get that right, you know who to thank. So I think Houston's going to win this one.
I like to add on to that too. I think Florida State's biggest obstacle in this game is getting fired up for it, because when I look at this game, it doesn't excite me, to be honest about it. Because I'm guessing that Florida State the Florida State fans, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor, are probably wishing they were playing somebody different.
That's right.
So I think that's going to be one of their biggest obstacles is getting fired up for it, which I think they will, and I don't think they'll have a problem winning. So.
Well, add on to that. Houston lost to UConn, but it was like about a touchdown. So it was close. They didn't get blown out.
Yeah. All right, Joey, we're going to look at, we're going to go ahead and skip a few days here. We're going to go to January 2nd and look at the Tax Slayer Bowl. That matchup is Penn State taking on Georgia. What do you think about this matchup?
I'm going with Georgia here. Penn State not looking good against Michigan State, or they beat. No, did they beat Temple?
Penn State?
Yeah, in the beginning of the year. I think Temple won. Yeah, Temple won. But I think Georgia, firing their coach, but I think they kind of get one together here and win against Penn State.
Okay, Taylor.
I'm picking Georgia too. If the coach was still there, I'd probably pick them to win by probably about 3 touchdowns. But since the coach is gone, I'm going to pick them to win by 1.
All right, Landon.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia here. That's it.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia too. I think that Georgia's had their issues this year, but I think overall, I think Georgia's a great football team. They play great defense, and I think Penn State, one of their struggles this year has been on the offense side of the ball. They do have a little bit of QB issues and O-line issues, and I just don't think that's going to be something they're going to be able to overcome in this game. So I'm going with Georgia.
All right, Taylor.
No, going with the Bulldogs as well. Kind of like you were saying, Penn State's had some inconsistencies in quarterback, and that quarterback was a former 5-star quarterback, had a lot of high pressure on him. We all know what Penn State went through, a lot of ups and downs, and they would like nothing more but a win. But I believe the Georgia running backs are going to be too much to handle. They got some NFL-type quality running backs back there, Keith Marshall. So I look for them to run the ball, play some pretty good defense. I look for it to be a pretty tight game. But I look for Georgia to pull out the win.
All right, guys. We're going to continue on January 2nd bowl game, looking at the Liberty Bowl, where Kansas State takes on Arkansas. Joey, another coin toss of a game here.
I'm gonna go with the SEC here, Arkansas. They've put up some big games against big opponents. Kansas State has not looked impressive to me. Their only impressive games have been against OSU and Baylor, TCU. But against Oklahoma, they got shut out pretty badly. But I think Arkansas wins this because they've beaten better teams that are good. So I think Arkansas wins this in the Liberty Bowl.
All right, Taylor.
That's a pretty good point. I'm also picking Arkansas to win, but that is for right now. Tomorrow I might change my mind and pick Kansas State. I never ever want to count on a Bill Snyder team, especially for this long. He's got all these weeks of preparation. He's watching film. He's getting his guys ready. So for right now, this minute I'm picking Arkansas, but in 5 more minutes I'll probably pick Kansas State. So.
All right, Landon.
With Arkansas, have 7 wins. That's all.
Okay, Ryan.
I think you hit it on the nail, Taylor. Is you can never count out a Bill Snyder team, and I'm picking Arkansas, but I don't think it's going to be. Let me put it this way: it wouldn't surprise me if Bill Snyder pulled it out.
Okay.
It would not be shocking to me in the least. I think that Arkansas has played some great football this season, and they played some really lackluster football. The same can be said of Kansas State. I think Arkansas has played kind of more of a Jekyll and Hyde, like, okay, they do something really, awkward, and then all of a sudden, then they're, beating LSU. And so, I'm going with Arkansas, and I feel good about that, but it wouldn't shock me if Bill Snyder's team pulled it out.
Right. All right, Taylor.
Yeah, this is another one of those games. I think because of Bill Snyder alone could be a toss-up, and not even just because the two teams are evenly matched. I think Arkansas's got the edge. I'm going for Arkansas in this one with the ground and pound game. I think ever since the Sooners ran into Manhattan and came in with the 55 to nothing pounding, the coach himself had to write an apology letter, send out an apology letter to the fans and to the university. I think ever since that, the team has really been a little bit of a lackluster, kind of a hope just kind of went down the drain a little bit. So I look for Kansas State to start off pretty strong, but I think Arkansas, after they start getting momentum, I think you're going to see that again. I think it's going to be a pretty sad ending for Kansas State.
Okay. Interesting, guys. All right.
Here's the game.
We're going to go on to another January 2nd matchup and look at the Valero Alamo Bowl. Number 15 Oregon taking on number 11 TCU. Joey, another offensive,
I feel like it's-
high-powered matchup here, and to me, it just depends on
I think
Boykin.
it's going to be over 110 combined points.
Really? You think
Yeah.
it's going to be back and forth?
Yeah, but I think TCU wins, because they're at home, their home state. Oregon kind of struggling this year, but TCU has got Boykin back. They had him back Baylor. They won that clutch in double overtime. Oregon struggled this year and then came back and is now good. But I think TCU wins this. I think Gary Patterson can get his guys ready and then for a close one. So I think TCU wins this against Oregon.
Okay. Taylor.
This game's gonna be really exciting. I'm actually really excited to watch this.
Yes.
I love defense, but this is probably one of the games I don't mind just seeing a whole lot of offense. I'm picking TCU because basically it's a home game. They're playing in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
But man, it's gonna be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
So
All right, Landon.
I'm picking TCU. They came back on that OU game. They beat Baylor barely, but I'm going with TCU. I think they're going to beat the Ducks.
Okay. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going with TCU as well. I think with Boykin back, I think he makes all the difference. We all know what that looks like whenever you've got a quarterback playing well, with Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma. But I think with Boykin back, that makes all the difference. And here's the thing: I think it's going to be a lot of points scored. We're talking about two top 10 offenses, but some kind of sketchy defense, and then Oregon ranking in the 100s in defense. So I think it's they're not doing a good job on the defensive side of the ball. Oregon isn't, and so I think because of that, I think TCU pulls out a win.
Okay. Taylor.
Yeah, if you're looking for offense, I definitely would not tune into the Alamo Bowl on January 2nd. Or for defense anyways. If you're looking for offense, you definitely want to watch this. No, I'm right there with Joey. I think there's going to be over plus 100 points scored in this game. I'm actually going with the Ducks in this one. I think they've been getting hot at the right time. I really think that Oregon offense is beginning to pick up pace. There's a lot of athletes on both sides. But I just have a feeling that the Ducks are going to pull this one out.
Okay. Interesting. All right, we're going to continue on with the January 2nd bowls and look at the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl, where we see, I know, Motel 6.
It sounds swanky, doesn't it?
I know. What's up with that? All right, we got West Virginia taking on Arizona State. Joey, what do you think about this matchup?
I'm going with Arizona State here. West Virginia's looked, okay to me, but Arizona State's looked more impressive. I mean, they have a home game here, but I really think Arizona State can beat West Virginia by at least 3 touchdowns.
3
Arizona
touchdowns.
State's going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Wow. All right, Taylor.
I'm actually picking West Virginia. Arizona State has a pretty decent defense. They have a pretty decent offense, and that's pretty much what the record says. They're 6-6. They're an okay team. West Virginia is a little above average. I think they are going to score, but yeah, it's West Virginia part by 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right, Landon, what do you think?
I'm picking West Virginia because they're West.
Okay. Ryan.
I'm going with West Virginia. I think West Virginia is another one of those weird teams that's better than what their record says. I think they played some people close this year.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. I think both teams play pretty similar offense. It's not the West Virginia offense that we've known, a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I really think that Arizona State, their defense is just not going to be able to handle it.
Okay.
I don't think that in the Pac-12 that you see the type of offense that West Virginia has seen in the Big 12, and I think because of that, I think West Virginia's playing better defense against better offenses. So I'm going with West Virginia on that one.
Okay. Taylor.
No, I'm definitely going Big 12 on this one. I think the Mountaineers are going to win this. Dana Holgorsen, their head coach, has kind of been on the hot seat lately. People have been talking about possible, firings. But it's true. This is one of those teams I look at again, and I look at their record, and I say to myself, I think they're better than a 7-5 team, and I think they know that. They've had a lot of injuries in their secondary, had a lot of injuries on their team. That's kind of been frustrating, especially when you're in the Big 12. You need a healthy secondary at all costs when you're going up against those spread offenses. But I look for them to run the ball. They run the ball well. That's what they like to do, run the ball to open up the pass. I look for them to control the clock and to win by about 10 points against Arizona State.
Okay, interesting. All right, guys, we're going to go to the big bowls coming up, the ones that really mean a lot, especially this New Year's Eve bowl, the Capital One Orange Bowl, number 4 Oklahoma taking on.
Did you this one?
Yes.
Yeah, back bowl.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
We didn't do
Number
that.
4 Oklahoma taking on number 1 Clemson.
Oh, on the Outback Bowl. You didn't do the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not last. Okay. Well, the Outback Bowl.
Orange Bowl.
Okay, the Orange Bowl. I'm going with Oklahoma here. They've been on a roll ever since the Texas loss, but I think Oklahoma can make a statement against the number 1 team, and I think they can show to people that Clemson can lose a game.
Okay. Taylor.
Okay, gentlemen. There's a big part of me that's going to say that Oklahoma should win,
I feel
and
it
they
coming.
probably will. Every Oklahoma team has a big problem with a dual threat quarterback, like a true dual threat quarterback. You can go back to Menzel. You can go back to when they played Clemson last year. You can play when they played Boykins. OU has been pretty lucky. They can only play the teams that are in front of them, but if they would have played like the first string quarterback from Baylor, if they would have played a Boykin, if they would have got Mahomes if he was 1%.
Yeah.
You saw what happened at Texas with swoops coming in.
Yeah.
But saying all that, I'm still going to pick Oklahoma, but it's going to be really, really close. Brent Venables probably knows this team inside and out.
Yeah.
Man, and you see what Clemson, did to my Florida State. As soon as you think you got them beat, then the quarterback makes a play with his legs. And that's what's been Oklahoma's Achilles heel from the last part 5 to 6 years. Any really true dual threat quarterback, they have trouble with.
Okay.
And it's not by like a few points they've been destroyed.
Yeah.
So
All right. Landon, what do you think?
I'm going with Oklahoma here. They're gonna come back and get revenge on Clemson for beating them last year in that one bowl. I think Baker Mayfield will lead his team to victory, and not just because I'm an OU fan, because yeah.
All right, Brian.
I'm going with Oklahoma on this one. And here's the reason why. I mean, Clemson actually has a great body of work. They beat FSU, they beat Notre Dame. One thing I don't think that Clemson has seen, I think you're exactly right, Taylor, on the dual threat quarterback. I think that will give Oklahoma trouble. However, I think that one thing that we haven't seen in a while is an offense as explosive as we've seen this year from Oklahoma, especially at the end of the stretch. So I think that Clemson's going to score points. They're going to. But I think that Oklahoma, especially Baker Mayfield, going on all cylinders, is going to do the same and score a lot of points. And I really feel like whether Bob Stoops will admit it or not, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They want to go out there and get some revenge over last year. And I think a year makes all the difference in the world. And I think coming back after being destroyed last year against Clemson, and we're closing out the year with back-to-back losses like we did, three losses in a row. I think that they've got a lot to play for in this game, and I really think that OU's offense is going to pull it out. On paper, OU should win. Statistically, they should win. So I think, as far as the way that we drew this with Clemson, I think it's a great matchup for this first round. I know a lot of people wanted to see Oklahoma play Alabama and Dallas. Myself included, I would like to have seen Dallas because it basically would have been a home game. But I think matchup-wise, this is a good matchup for us. And I think that OU's going to pull out the win. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. And on the flip side, Oklahoma hasn't seen a quarterback like what Clemson has this year. So they could have, if we played
Yeah.
first stringers in some of our signature wins. But I think that they haven't seen that either. So I think it's going to be a lot of points scored, but still good defense. I think it's OU's defense and Clemson's defense both ranked in the top 25, top 10 offense for Oklahoma, top 15 offense for Clemson. So I think it's going to be they're evenly matched, and I think Oklahoma pulls it out.
All right, Taylor.
Out of all the games, we're looking at on paper here, I see this one, I honestly think to be the most evenly matched out of all the games. You've got two top-tier quarterbacks that are different and similar in what they do. Clemson, definitely like he was saying, is going to give us threats on being a dual threat and mobile quarterback ever since going back to Texas with Vince Young. And running all over us, and then he ran all over USC in the championship for the win. There's always seems like we've had trouble with dual threat quarterbacks, but then I also think, well, who doesn't have troubles with dual threat? It's hard to contain. You come up on the run, he throws it over for the pass. You step back, he's going to take off running. It's very, very difficult. But I'm going to say that for Clemson also. Baker Mayfield may not be the fastest and wow you in his 40 time, but he's got some shake and bake in him, and he has the most uncanny ability to get out and to escape from tackles. There have been so many times where I just think he's going to go down, and man, he just keeps on going. Yeah. This game is definitely going to be decided on quarterback play, and also I believe Oklahoma trying to contain as much as possible the quarterback at Clemson. We all know the old defensive coordinator, Brent Venables. That game that we played last year, he definitely probably had a good laugh after we got beat 40-6. And kind of like you were saying too, I do believe that whether OU would want to say it or not, there's definitely a revenge factor in this. This has been the revenge tour of November. Every team that has beaten OU last year, we've come back and we've beaten. I see this to be very, 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 very close game. But I think because of Baker Mayfield, with his leadership, his personality has totally changed this team around. I think he's one of the biggest reasons they've went from 8-5 into where they are now. Of course, there was a lot of hires and staff changes that OU made, but I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a little bit frustrated. He did not get to be going to New York for the Heisman winning, so I think he's going to show in these games that he can play quarterback some too. So I look for Oklahoma in a very close win.
I have just two little side notes. This is going to come full circle because Clemson started their winning streak beating OU last year, and they haven't lost a game since. So it's like coming full circle.
That's true.
And another thing is, whoever wins this game is winning the national championship.
I believe that.
This should be the national championship game, but everything's got to play itself out. But whoever's winning this game is going to be the champion.
Interesting. All right, guys, we've got a few more games left, and we got not so much time remaining, so we need to rush through these as much as we can. Okay, all right, we're going to go to another New Year's Eve game where it's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. It's Michigan State, number 3, taking on number 2 Alabama. Joey.
I'm going to go with Bama here. They've been on a roll ever since the Ole Miss loss. Michigan State had that fluke loss, against Nebraska, but I think Michigan State is going to have a bigger challenge against Derrick Henry, Heisman winner. But I think Bama wins this.
All right, Taylor.
I'm actually going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Michigan State here. I feel like Michigan State has a decent defense and they run the ball pretty good. And something about Alabama, I feel like if they're just not really playing for the championship game right now, they kind of go through the motions. So I'm picking Michigan State.
All right, Landon.
I honestly want Alabama to win because I want to play them. Because if Oklahoma wins, I really want to play them in the national championship. But I think Michigan State's going to win this game.
Okay. Ryan.
It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan State won. I think Michigan State actually plays better defense than Alabama does. In general, I've watched quite a bit of Michigan State football this year. I think that Alabama has some great wins. They have 6 ranked opponents that they've beaten this year, and they're great wins: Wisconsin, Georgia, A&M, LSU, Mississippi State, and Florida. Michigan State, though, has beaten Oregon, Michigan, OSU, Ohio State, OSU, and Iowa. So I think Alabama pulls it out. I think Derrick Henry's is a hoss. I think he's going to have a heyday, if at all possible. But I really think that Alabama comes out with the win.
Okay, Taylor.
Yeah, these two teams are I think are very, very similar when it comes to style of play. They like to run the ball, run it physical. They like to have a very gritty, nasty, tough defense. I think the coaches are very similar in their mindset. I think these are two of some of the top coaches that you're going to see in college football today that are facing each other. But I'm going with Alabama in this win, simply, I think, honestly, because of the Heisman winner. I think he's going to find it very tough more than any other team to run the ball against them. I honestly don't think he's going to rack up the yards. I think they're actually going to hold him to under 100. But I just think that he's probably going to get a key defensive touchdown. I see this to be a low-scoring, almost like a boring SEC championship game, like you saw back in the day, Alabama, LSU, 7-0 sort of game. But I see this being held very low. But I see Nick Saban winning this one.
Okay. Guys, we're going to go ahead and skip real quick. We're going to go to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl, which takes place on New Year's Day. That is number 14 Michigan taking on number 19 Florida. Joey?
I'm going to go with Michigan here. Florida, I don't think they have an offense. But Michigan, they didn't do very good against Ohio State, but I think Michigan can win this pretty big against this SEC team.
Okay. Taylor?
Same thing with my hatred for Miami. I cannot ever pick Florida. But just for good reason, though, Michigan is a better team than Florida, and Florida's offense is non-existent. So, but their defense will keep them in the game for the first and maybe second quarter. But after that, it's gonna go downhill pretty fast.
Okay. Landon?
I'm with Michigan. I don't think Florida's doing that good this year.
Okay. Ryan?
Same, I'm going with Michigan. I think the offense makes a difference. They're pretty evenly matched on defense. And Florida is not playing their best football late in the season, so I think that makes a difference, and I think Michigan comes out the win.
All right, Taylor?
Yeah, I see Jim Harbaugh getting his first bowl win. I see, honestly, just upon the mind alone of Harbaugh, is going to allow Michigan to beat Florida. Kind of like Taylor said, Florida's offense is pretty much non-existent. I see Michigan easily winning this one towards the end.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to look at January 1st and the Battle Frog Fiesta Bowl. Number 8 Notre Dame taking on number 7 Ohio State.
This is gonna be a close game. Both sides of the football. But I think Ezekiel Elliott's last game. I think he goes out with a bang, and I think they can win this one pretty close.
All right, Taylor.
I'm picking Ohio State. Notre Dame's going to give them everything they want. It's going to be a real close game, but I actually think Ezekiel Elliott is going to run crazy. It's going to be the Ezekiel Elliott show.
Okay. Landon.
I'm going to pick Ohio State on this because they have more wins.
All right. Ryan.
I'm going with Ohio State as well, and the reason why is because Ohio State is playing much better defense than Notre Dame is. They're not allowing nearly as many points per game or yards per game than Notre Dame does. I think they're pretty evenly matched on offense, and I think that's going to be the difference maker. So,
Okay. Taylor.
Yeah, I'm seeing Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes getting this one. Very, very, I think, good matchup. Great game to watch. It's going to be very close. But there's a lot of those guys that have declared for the draft on the Buckeyes, and I see them wanting to raise their stock for those scouts that are going to be watching. So I do see Ezekiel Elliott having a pretty big night with about 3 touchdowns in this game.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll go to the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, January 1st. And I like this matchup, too. Number 6 Stanford taking on number 5 Iowa.
Cool.
Joey, what do you think about this
Are
matchup?
they playing is that where Stanford plays at? Is the Rose Bowl?
Well, it's in Pasadena there.
But I got Stanford in this one. Iowa's a good defensive team, but their offense is kind of not really that good. But Stanford, Christian McCaffrey's gonna have a big night as well.
Yeah.
Going out, getting second place in the Heisman. But I really think Stanford can win this game against Iowa.
Okay, Taylor.
Yeah, I'm also picking Stanford. McCaffrey's probably going to show everyone why he should have won the Heisman, and I kind of agree. I think he should have won it, but he's going to show everybody that they made a mistake for picking Henry. So.
Okay, Landon.
I'm picking Stanford on this one.
All right, Ryan.
I'm going with Stanford as well. I think Stanford is playing better offense. You all know that I haven't been high on Iowa this whole season, and they didn't have to play Ohio State, they didn't have to play Michigan. Their only shot at Michigan State, they lost. So I think that, whereas Stanford, they've got some pretty decent wins against USC, Notre Dame. So I think that it's a good matchup, but I think Stanford pulls it out.
Okay. Taylor.
Yeah, I'm picking Stanford on this one as well. Yeah, pretty much the same reasons. I mean, Iowa's schedule was almost kind of powder puff. I mean, really 12-1 until the one game they played. And they played Michigan State well. I'll give them credit. It was down to the wire, and Michigan State had to do almost a 90-yard drive, I think, to cap that off and to win it. But no, I just see Stanford winning this one's on the legs of McCaffrey.
Okay. All right, guys. The last game of the New Year's Day is the All-State Sugar Bowl. The number 16 Oklahoma State Cowboys meeting the number 12 Ole Miss Rebels.
I'm gonna go with Ole Miss here. They've been playing, good. They lost to Arkansas, but they beat Bama. That was their biggest win. But I don't think OSU has what it takes to win this big of a bowl, because I think Ole Miss is gonna shut them down.
Okay. Taylor.
Yeah, I'm picking Ole Miss too. Oklahoma State just seems like they're just kind of deflating towards the end of the season. Ole Miss, they have a lot of good wins. They're in a harder conference. Offenses are pretty similar, but Ole Miss's defense is probably what's going to take them over the edge.
Okay. Landon.
I'm going with Ole Miss. I really don't like Oklahoma State. They lost against OU, and I think if Ole Miss can play good defense, they will win the game. So yeah, I pick
Okay.
Ole Miss.
Ryan.
Yeah, I am going with Ole Miss. And I have to agree with Joey. I don't think Oklahoma State has what it takes to win this game. No, I think OSU, they have a real reason to be fired up after losing back-to-back games to end the season.
Yeah.
I just don't think they have what it takes to beat Ole Miss in all seriousness. I think that Ole Miss is playing leaps and bounds better defense than Oklahoma State is. Oklahoma State's ranked 80-something in defense. I think it should be a good offensive game, but I just, losing back-to-back, you've got an Ole Miss team that's beaten Alabama, Mississippi State, and LSU. I just don't think that Oklahoma State is going to be able to match up well with that. So.
Okay. Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. I apologize to all Cowboy fans everywhere. But come January 1st in the Sugar Bowl, you guys are going to get beat. I see Ole Miss winning this one, and it's true. They are kind of similar teams, and offensively as well. Defensively, though, they've got some studs on the Ole Miss side of the line. Actually, Nkemdiche, I would say his last name. I know that I guess he fell from a fifth story. I'm not sure if he's okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he is. It was kind of a weird freak accident. But if they have him playing, he is a pro caliber type of guy. I see some pretty high numbers scoring, but I see Oklahoma State make some mistakes like they did against Oklahoma. Turning the ball over, I think, is going to happen to Oklahoma State. I see it being another loss for all you Cowboy fans, so I apologize.
And I have another little side note. The Ole Miss Rebel looks way cooler than Pistol Pete.
Now I'll add just to tack on too. I think that OSU, I don't completely discount them. I think they're going to lose, but Mike Gundy really has traditionally done well in bowl games, and they really do have a reason to be fired up. It's their first time ever going to a Sugar Bowl. It's a big stage. Again, I don't think they have what it takes. And the gentleman we're talking about, I think he's okay, but and we may have somebody fact check us on YouTube, but I believe we're not letting him play because I believe it was a drug issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
I was wondering how somebody falls from a.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I think the guy's fine, but I think they're not going to let him play because he was smoking something. So.
Well, on add something else, back to the Orange Bowl. OU lost Jordan Thomas, got arrested for doing some
Not good.
stuff that's not acceptable.
Yeah, right.
But here, one more bonus pick. National championship. Orange Bowl or Cotton Bowl?